Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great day and you're safe from the flood zone. And that's going on here in Kentucky, all the flooding. This is Sheila and Fred with Hatfield McCoy Museum and Adventures and FS Investigates.
Ooh, don't be no more enthusiastic than that. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us. You look in the background there, and you might be able to see what this story is going to be on if you've seen the thumbnail. Um, for some reason, we don't get a lot of views on Johnny Edrington.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It should be of interest to every citizen here in Kentucky, and especially those in Lowell and County and London, Kentucky.
Okay.
It should be of interest to everybody. This was a Kentucky State police trooper that was killed, or something else. Sheila and I believe him to have been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And 30-year trooper Doug Asher says it was a S side. He says that 35 years after the fact.
Right.
Either way, this is not about that, guys. This is that's evidence in your background. That's not the shirt.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
But first of all, right out of the barn, let's just get this. We've always got a disclaimer at the back of our videos, and I don't want people to think, oh, they're just picking on this one or that one or this agency. It's not that. It's not picking on nobody. It's asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Disclaimer: alleged, hearsay, speculative. It's what you're going to hear. Hearsay,
Yep.
speculative. We're alleging. Now, with that done, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get down to the.
Okie dokie.
Where's Johnny Edrington's shirt at?
Meaning the shirt that you're asking about is the one that he was wearing the night of the event?
The night that he was killed, the
Okay.
night that he died.
Yeah.
Where is his shirt at that is supposed to be in the evidence room at the Kentucky State Police post in Frankfort, along with his file that they say is still open, yet nothing's been done. Nothing's been done on it for 35 years, 36 years. You know, guys, we've been asking for this case to be reactivated for some time now. Ever since Lieutenant Colonel Doug Asher he come out with his book last January, I believe. We didn't run across that book on YouTube or on the internet, on the news, until just 2 or 3 months ago.
Right. Just read.
And it really raised our curiosity, really raised some questions.
There you go.
And with those questions that was raised, we're having more questions. Guys, this shirt, the shirt Johnny Edrington had on that night that somebody shot him in between his eyes, they tell us is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Is missing. Huh?
That's what we were told.
From the evidence room, from his items that he had on him. I'm going to try to remain calm, but this reminds me of what I went through in August 7th of 89 when we turned in a corrupt sheriff and things was missing, things was done.
It was scary too.
Guns that was turned into the state police evidence room that was missing, or that had been picked up by a Pike County deputy sheriff and had been marked as destroyed. But they wasn't destroyed at all. He says on the I'm looking in the book a while ago because I've got the file from that case, 900 and some pages, and it's got the serial numbers for these guns. It's got that they were destroyed. Someday I'm going to go over some of these files on here, and maybe you'll have one of these guns that's still out there that was supposed to have been destroyed, but they weren't destroyed. They was given out as gifts to other political figures and such. Let's move on. So I do get a little bit upset because
passionate.
I can see that these agencies that we've put so much trust in, so much faith in, are not what people think they are. We've been asking for this case to be reactivated. They say it's already open. Well, if the case is open, reactivate it. Put some new eyes on it, put new detectives on it, and let's find out what's going on. Because now we're finding out that this shirt's missing. Now, if you've noticed in some of our videos, Sheila and I have asked for his uniform to be looked at again forensically, because now we have DNA. We didn't have DNA back in, or at least to the point that we do now, back in 1988. They can take that shirt, Johnny's shirt that he had on, excluding what the mess that he had made on it, for lack of a better way of putting it, and they can see if there's anybody else's blood on that shirt. They can see if there's anybody else's fibers, hairs, especially anybody that may have been of interest that through the years, a lot of people says, "Oh, there's rumors," and we know there's rumors, but the more we look at these rumors, the more we ask questions. Who in the world had access to Johnny Edrington's shirt?
That is a good question.
Who in the world had access while it's in the Kentucky? Can somebody just walk in the Kentucky State Police evidence room and take stuff out and nobody writes it down or checks it out? Or if this is true, now guys, again, speculative hearsay. We have been told by
a
person, well, a couple people,
right,
but especially one person that would have knowledge. They say that the shirt is now missing. Johnny Edrington's shirt. What else is missing? Is his gun belt missing? Is his shoes missing? To see if there's any scuff marks on them? Is his hat, flashlight? What else is missing that was with him that night? We've mentioned several times about the DNA. Clothing needs to be tested. We need to find out if the shirt is missing. If it's not missing, this is a real simple task. Right. This is real simple. State police can say, no, shirt's not missing. Here it is. It's in the evidence room. Real simple. Prove us wrong. Because we don't know if we're right or wrong. We know what we've been told. We've been told that a person drove by that night when there was a car pulling out from where Johnny Edrington was killed.
Yep.
Did that car have anything to do with his homicide? We don't know. We asked the state police to see if any evidence is missing.
Right.
We see that. Go ahead, babe.
See, we don't know. We only know what we're told by people. We get people that contact us from time to time and tell us this or tell us that. So we're just going by what we were told.
We have a Doberman and a Shih Tzu, whatever they're called. And I'll swear I don't think they eat unless the camera's on. It's like they don't pull at their choke chain and all that, unless when you turn this camera on, they go to eating and drinking.
It's all good. No worries.
So I got up and put the dog up.
I know. I seen it. Poor dog.
If Edrington's shirt is missing, we need to know.
And make sure that it's actually his shirt.
If it's not missing, it's not going to be hard to tell if it's his shirt. It's going to have his DNA all over it.
Good point.
It's going to have his. This is a piece of evidence they can't produce or make up. If it's his shirt,
yeah,
I've seen enough to know what it's going to look like or what it did look like.
Yeah.
And it would have been placed in a paper bag, probably. You don't put something like that in plastic. You'll put it in paper where it can dry out and so forth. But how did this happen? Where did it go? Why did someone not want this shirt to remain in evidence? If this shirt is no longer in evidence at the Kentucky State Police post, why? Who would have wanted this shirt to come up missing? And for what reason?
What's on that shirt or what's got to do with that shirt?
Guys, we're talking hypothetically. We don't even know that the shirt is actually missing.
Correct.
We're talking hypothetically. But if it is missing, what civilian, what person out here on the street, Joe Blow, just walked in there and, I'd like to have that shirt out of evidence. It don't happen. You know it don't
Mhm.
happen. We know it don't happen. If something's missing out of that state police evidence room, it was connected to somebody in the state police.
It had to be, I mean, if it's missing, so the only person allowed in there would be police.
Well, they're not even allowed in. The only person allowed in there is the technician that takes care of the evidence room that's in charge of it.
Really?
Now, how many's inventoried, how many's took care of that over the last 36 years? See, it's been 36 years.
Really?
But if it is missing,
Right.
when did it come up missing?
Mm-hmm.
When did the people first find out that it was missing?
When was it first
Did did
noticed?
did 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 Doug Asher, post commander at Post 11 in London, did he know it was missing? Because Doug Asher says in his book that when he opened the body bag and looked at Johnny Edrington, his uniform was,
We need to find.
I
That's
need
where
to
we
find
get
the exact phrase because I always
they
say
don't wanna read.
pristine. I don't think he
Mhm.
said the word pristine. I think he said it was intact. It was on uh scanted or whatever the word he used. Uniform was good. There had not been a scuffle, he said. But yet, in every news article that you read, almost a scuffle,
Mhm.
a scuffle on the hood of the car. There was a scuffle with his uniform, disarray. Which one is it? Which one is it?
Speaking of his car, what would they have done with his car?
Good question. They would have photographed it. There would be photographs if there was a dent in the hood. If there was, person also told us there was scratches all over the hood.
Mhm.
There was fresh scratches.
Mhm.
That would lead a person to believe that maybe there was a struggle.
Scuffle. Yeah.
As a former detective, this is alarming to me, and it is. It's alarming. Is it surprising with the Kentucky State Police? No, it's not surprising to me. I feel you. But it's not, Sheila. I've dealt, there was a Kentucky State Trooper after the FBI agent that my partner and I went to and when we were detectives in Pike County, turned in a corrupt sheriff and others. He and the FBI agent killed his girlfriend. Then he was taken off the case and they turned it over to the state police trooper. Said he won't stop till and he got some. He charged some. There was some charged. There was some went to prison,
Mhm.
but nothing like it should have been. Said he's never been told to back off a case. Well,
He got
when
schooled.
it's over with, he said he got schooled. I've been to school, Fred. That's
Yep.
what he told me in the end after we gave up our jobs,
Yeah.
our careers in that area. Been to school. That don't get it when a person gives up his job and you've got the evidence right there for him to look at. You're
Mhm.
recovering stolen guns or guns that should have been destroyed that wasn't, that was given as gifts. All these different things, and you never, just like Asher. I've been to school. He shouldn't be saying I've been to school. He should have been holding a press conference and saying, "Hey, been doing this for so many years, and I've been told this, and we gave the run around here. We didn't get a grand jury. He didn't do that. He's sitting back, drawing a hefty retirement. In fact, I think some of his offspring is now also, like I said before, a lot of state troopers, they get their children into the state police. It just runs downhill and you got the same names. As long as you don't make waves, you can do that. You I feel you, baby. As a former detective, this is alarming, of course. A big gray cover up. Who has had access to the shirt? You done asked
That's
that a while ago.
very interesting.
And other items in the case. Is there any other items missing in the Johnny Edrington case? We don't
Yeah.
know, guys.
Mm.
We may never know. If we don't know, it won't because Fred McCoy and Sheila to a point. Sheila tries to be more. I've got old. I've got cranky. I've got 40 years of seeing what goes on in law enforcement, of seeing how one-sided it can be, of seeing how people are beat, seeing how people are taken advantage of. Now, listen, Fred McCoy would fight as long as they wanted to fight. When they were resisting arrest, like I tell everybody, it was like being the third monkey getting on Noah's Ark, and brother, it's starting to rain. I used to tell these guys, we're not here to spar with you. I'm not here to see who's the toughest. We're here to take you from point A to point B, to jail. And it's up to you how you go. I'd prefer you just get in the car and let's just drive and everything works out good.
Mhm.
Not everybody goes like that. But when they stop fighting, the fight's over. You don't handcuff them. You don't beat them. You don't gang up on them no more than you have to. You do what you have to do, but we're not there to be punishers. And nowadays,
You're there to make an effective arrest.
and nowadays I see nothing but punishment. These guys, it's like it's their duty, police officers. You're contempt of cop. You remember when your mother say, you do that again and I'll give you something to cry about. Or if you do that, and that's what they do. Don't talk back to me, they say. Talk back to you and you're going to beat them up. Why would someone in the KSP want an item to disappear? I don't know. I don't know why that is so. Why would anybody want a bloody shirt, the last uniform that Johnny Edrington, Trooper Johnny Edrington, Army veteran, ever had on? Why would anybody want that or want it to be gone? KSP has the means to prove what I'm alleging is wrong. I'm alleging because I've been told, Sheila and I have been told that the shirt is now missing from the evidence box. If it is, why?
Where'd it go?
Yeah. Why? Is that not a relevant question? Is that not a question for you people out here that's watching this to say, hey, guys, they're on to something.
That's an important piece of evidence.
They're on to something. Something's not right in this Johnny Edrington case. 36 years into the death of Johnny Edrington, and we don't know no more than we knew 3 hours after it happened. They can produce the shirt for DNA testing. If they've got the shirt, we need it tested for DNA to see if anybody else's DNA is on it. If not, it's missing. If not, it's missing. I don't want to make the video real long, guys. Like I said, these videos on Johnny, for some reason, you would think that this would be the most shared video that Sheila and I do because it is one of the most important ones that we do.
That's the thing. You never know what people find interesting.
It should be common decency that everybody out there, guys, I'm seeing a glare. I'm sorry, my glasses there. It should be common decency that everybody out there shares these Johnny, not the first one we did, because the first one we did, we was discussing Lieutenant Colonel Doug Asher's book. And Doug Asher said that it was a S side, but the state police called it, anything wrong? Called it a homicide. And we thought, well, we've heard it was a S side all these years. That was wrong of them to collect the insurance. That was wrong of them to call it a homicide with it being an S side, because the first video we up to that point, we always thought.
Right.
And then we started getting phone calls and we started doing some research and we started and
it's looking a different way.
Johnny Edrington, in our opinion, was murdered. We don't have the file. We can't look back and see everything that was said and done.
Right.
But you've got the same 3 detectives that called it a S side within 2 or 3 hours of him dying, to the post commander, Doug Asher, calling it a S side, to a local coroner and a associate medical examiner. That's the 5. Everybody else calls it a homicide. Now, they called it a S side from 2 or 3 hours of it happening. Man's got his lights on, radar's locked in, he's on the side of the road, he's on beside of his car. But within that length of time, we know that it's a S side. Would anybody else, if it was a friend of yours, if it was a employee of yours, if it was a fellow trooper, would you be so fast to call it a S side? Would you not, a veteran, Army veteran, would you not give them the common decency to investigate? And if you would, Why wasn't it investigated? Why do we have people calling us saying that they passed by and when they were coming down the road, they saw a vehicle pulling out? That's a major
Yeah.
point of interest. S side, but you have a vehicle pulling out with its blue lights on and they're leaving. Nobody ever interviewed the person. Nobody ever. This is not some John Doe. This is, we believe, is a credible, intelligent person. Other people says that they had conversations with people that knew about it, that knew who done it, or that had even confessed to them. We don't know this. See, we don't know these people.
Right.
We know they've contacted us and what they told us.
Right.
They also told the state police 36 years ago in phone calls. No detective ever went and interviewed them.
No.
Ask them about it. Question them. It was just S side. In our minds, it's S side. No need in looking at nothing else unless it required them to go to California or Georgia or Nashville or Ohio or Indiana. I won't cover the same stuff over again, guys. Guys, you all have a trooper out here that was murdered, in our opinion, on the side of the road on Kentucky 80. Daniel Boone Highway, now Hal Rogers Highway, call it whatever you want. He was murdered 2.4 miles on 80 as you're going toward London. After you cross the Pulaski County line into London, when you cross over the bridge, set your tripometer and go 2.4 miles. And on the side of the guardrail, on the side of the road there where the guardrail ends, is where his vehicle was parked. And that's where he died. Now, if it was something other than homicide, no problem. It's 36 years later. Everybody can. But let's not tell the grandchildren, let's not tell the child that it's a S side when it's even one possibility that it was a homicide.
Chance, yeah.
We don't do that. The
guys, family needs closure.
If that shirt's missing, if that shirt, Kentucky State Police Commissioner Philip Burnett Jr., need to check your evidence log, need to check your evidence box, walk in there, open that box up and look and see if there's a shirt with blood on it that belonged to Johnny Edrington. Not just blood, but his blood. DNA test for his blood and anybody else's blood that may be on there, or hair or fiber or any telltale signs that would tell whether it's a seat of a vehicle, something that as the state police commissioner, the buck stops with him. It's no secret. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the state police commissioner, and I feel you. Truth to truth, I don't think it's a secret. I don't have a lot of faith in him. But I say that hoping that he proves Fred McCoy wrong. And he says, hey, Fred, here's your shirt. I hope he's on the news tomorrow. WLEX, Lee Searcy. That's who done the story on Doug Asher's book. She's the one that done a story advertising Doug Asher's book and letting him talk about his book where he says he's had an honorary career. Says he thinks the truth should be known. Well, really? 35 years later? Truth needs to be told, he said. Had an honorary career. Honorary career is when you give up your job because you see something going on that's wrong and you say, hey, I'm not putting up with this. This ain't the way law enforcement's supposed to be. I may get fired, may lose my job, my career, but daggone it, I'm not going to look the other way. That's honorary career. That's honorary. That's integrity, character. It's not character to work 35 more years, 30 years in the state police and then say, write a book. I'm drawing my retirement check, but had an honorable career. I'm sorry. I disagree with that. I don't think that's honorable at all. Why has this case never been solved? There's two or three reasons. One of them is it's sitting there and locked up in the safe. nobody's trying to solve it. Why are they not trying to solve it?
Yeah.
Was any of them rumors? Was there any truth to any of those rumors that was going around? I don't know. But if that shirt's missing, if these people's not being talked to, if the more that we see,
Hmm.
then I think you could go get a kindergartner and probably solve this case with that file. I'm sorry. Very upsetting, guys. Very upsetting. You've got a guy there. I don't know him from Adam. I don't know this Commonwealth attorney in Laurel County, Kentucky from Adam.
Exactly.
It ain't Steins.
Still.
Steele. Commonwealth attorney Steele. But I've seen him on television on the Steins case, the Sheriff Steins case, and he acts like he's very credible, very intelligent. I know I've corresponded. I've got open records from the sheriff's office there in Laurel County, filed for open records request. Everything I've asked for, they just, I don't know what everybody else is. I read things. I can read. I see what other people says. I don't see that. Everything I've asked for has been done credibly, and it's nothing like the state police. I've got 3 requests in for public records with state police, not got nothing yet.
Yep.
So John Root, a former state trooper Achardo, that I remember, if I remember correctly, but he was the public relations officer that was on the news.
Mr. Achardo?
Yeah, telling about when Johnny Edrington when he was found deceased. That's too credible. To me, they're credible people until proven otherwise. They were troopers. That's their brother. If that was a Marine, I'd be even more. I'm not a trooper. Never was. I seen somebody wrote the other day and said, I remember when Fred McCoy was a trooper. I'm sorry. You don't remember when I was a trooper because I've never been a trooper. But I'll guarantee you that if I was a trooper, I'd be even more bent out of shape than I am. Just as a fellow law enforcement officer and a veteran, I'm more upset that he was a veteran and being treated like this, his reputation than anything. But if you've got 2 troopers there in the Laurel County Sheriff's Department, they worked with him or knew him and they know anything as troopers, I wish they would come out. That's honorable. That's what you call honorable. If when you stand up, when you see that thing on Facebook where you got all these people going off this direction and you got one person taking this path, taking the high road, taking the integrity road, you don't have to fall in line and go with everybody else just because they're going that way. You may not reach what you expected to reach in life to go, or you may have to, but daggone, at the end of the day, you can sit here and make a video and say, I feel good about my career. I feel good about myself.
Your character, yeah.
And it's provable. And mine's provable. We can solve this case. We've got to get the state police commissioner or the attorney general's office to reopen this case. We've got to get some detectives that doesn't care about making people mad, that wants the truth. We got to get detectives that says, hey, I'm not worried about retirement. I want the truth. I'm going to solve this case after 36 years. We're going to find out who done it. It's not hard to solve, guys. If I die tomorrow, remember, this case will not be hard to solve with that file and with a couple of good. You've got to have 2. You need 2 detectives, 2 good ones, because they feed off of each other. They can listen to each other. They can question each other. They can throw it around to each other. You need 2 detectives, at least 2. Be nice if you had 4. And for a case as important as this is to the state police,
one of their own, yeah.
If I was the commissioner of the Kentucky State Police and I had a reputation, I had videos on YouTube, I wouldn't let something like this stand in my way because, see, I'm going to tell you, I don't think Colonel Burnett had nothing to do with the death of Johnny Edrington. Had nothing to do with it. He wasn't even a trooper at the time. He's only been a trooper 28 years. Johnny Edrington's been dead 36 years. So he wasn't even a trooper. He's just a kid when this happened. So he's got no personal reason to protect this case. No personal reason. I'm up to 30 minutes. Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay. He's got no personal reason to care whether this case is opened or not. He's got no reason to say, I'm going to leave it locked away. It might be embarrassing to the state police. What's more embarrassing to the state police? Because there's some kid out there right now, 12, 15, 17-year-old kid that wants to go in law enforcement like Fred McCoy was when he was that age. And he's watching this video and he's forevermore going to remember and he's going to think, wow, whatever happened to the Johnny Edrington case? Fred McCoy may die off and go on, and Sheila. But this kid that's watching this is going to 5, 10 years from now say, hey, guys, what happened to Johnny Edrington case? Well, pretty soon everybody's going to be dead that you could ever charge with it.
And then it'll just let it fade.
Yeah. Yeah. You're doing the state police, the Kentucky State Police, a disjustice. Troopers, I'm not down on all the Kentucky State Troopers. I've had some bad experiences with some for political reasons, for media reasons, there's some good Kentucky State Troopers.
Sure.
And I would be taking up for you just like we are for Johnny Edrington.
Exactly.
This is not against the Kentucky State Police. This is against the bad Kentucky State Troopers. There's bad out there. If you don't believe they are, go to Fred McCoy 40 and look at some of the videos that I've gone on, and I've got more to post.
There's good and bad in just about everything.
Sure there is. And I know there's good troopers. I wish Colonel Burnett would appoint a couple of good troopers that we know are out there and say, hey, go look at this file, find out what's going on here, find out what happened. But the first thing we need to know is the news tomorrow with Colonel Burnett holding a shirt up and saying, Mr. McCoy, you don't have to call me Mr., call me Fred. Fred, you're wrong. You were misinformed. Here's the shirt. And we're going to reopen this case. We're going to let some guys look at it and see where they get.
Wonderful.
That would be wonderful. Guys, sorry to keep you on here so long. If you've got any connections, Attorney General's office, Attorney General investigators. I used to know a lot of people. I don't know nobody no more. And now that I make these videos, because I'm so upset with the police officers nowadays whipping up on dementia people, whipping up on the elderly, doing the things that they're doing. I'm so I probably lost what friends I did have, but I'm not against the good police officers. I'm not against the good troopers.
Nope.
We can solve this together. You guys, you good troopers should be knocking on the colonel's door. Colonel, you've got this guy here and him and his wife, and she's not that bad, but he's terrible.
Oh, now.
And he's saying things, and we need to open this case. We need to prove what happened to our fellow trooper. And if it was a homicide, guys, you'll be nothing but heroes, because after 36 years, and with Lieutenant Colonel Asher down here saying within 3 hours of this trooper being killed, it was a S side, you'll be a hero, because there's a 30-year honorably served career trooper, he says, he claims, that says it was a S side, along with 3 other detectives. I don't blame the coroner at that time. I don't blame the associate medical examiner at that time. If I'm out there working a wreck,
yeah,
and I have 4 troopers, 3 troopers, not troopers, 3 detectives,
okay,
3 state police detectives. So they've been there for a couple of years. If I had 3 detectives and a post commander come to me and say, Fred, it's that guy there. He hit him. And I'm thinking, no, he hit him broadside. But they're saying, and there's 4 troopers there, and they're saying, I'm going to be thinking, well, if it goes to court, I'm going to have 4 troopers saying otherwise. How you going to? So I don't blame the coroner. I don't blame the other medical examiner. They're going on what these 4 troopers are telling them. We believe it's a S side. We
But,
believe they're wrong.
however, shouldn't the evidence show?
The evidence will show. Sheila, the biggest part of the evidence, and you was here when the person called,
Exactly.
the biggest part of the evidence that there is out there is that somebody was traveling from Pulaski, from Somerset, and
Mhm,
they were going back toward London on 80 that night.
mhm.
And as they come down and started up the incline there, they saw the blue lights flashing, and they said to themselves or to their person they was with, I'm sorry, I'm getting loud.
Just a little bit. I don't know if I would, uh,
Okay. Go into that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay. That's probably good.
yeah.
Guys, we've got names. Again, we had people call us, and one we
Mhm.
called the other day and said, if I tell you something, will you keep it between us and the state police, or us and the attorney general's office, us, and if there's ever an agency that investigates, we'll tell them.
Right.
I'm sorry, she didn't call, she messaged.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what I told her in the message. We'll share it with the police agency if it's ever opened again.
Mhm.
And she didn't call, and she didn't write back. And that's so it's either a
They were
rumor
probably afraid.
or she's afraid. And why would she be that afraid? Why would she be that afraid? I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know.
they know something.
I don't know. If that shirt's missing, maybe we should be afraid. If that shirt's missing, really, because that evidence out of the state police post just don't disappear, guys. I'm sorry to tell you.
It shouldn't be that easy for it to.
But if there's a couple of detectives or investigators from the AG's office, and they investigate this, and the word goes that, hey, it's open. If you've got any information, contact these people. They're not going to be like these last three and not follow up with it. If you call these people, they'll come and talk to you. They'll see what you got. And then maybe this person that texted, messaged, maybe she'll say, hey, come and see me. I trust you guys. I'll talk to you all. And maybe they'll find out even more than we know.
Right.
Because we're not going to lie to people. You tell us something and it's ever reopened.
I mean, we're not putting it on YouTube or nothing, but if we were,
Won't be on YouTube.
the
We
investigation,
don't want to put it on YouTube.
Right.
We've never mentioned nobody's name. We've never
Right.
mentioned,
Right.
the thing. I don't even think what I was going to mention a while ago would have probably been, but it's okay. But I'm showing that we know that we're not making this up. Somebody has contacted us. People have contacted us, and they know things, and they don't care to tell somebody. After 36 years, they still don't care to tell somebody.
Right.
Okay, babe, I'm sorry. I've drug it along, but
No, it's all
guys,
good. No
this is
worries.
very important to us. Very important to give that man behind us there, that uniform, justice.
Exactly.
That uniform has lost a lot of credit over the years. Again, I used to think that uniform and the FBI could walk on water. I don't think that way out of either one of them anymore. And it takes a lot. Once you lose your credibility, it takes a lot for people and their children and their children's children to come back and say, wow, that's an honorable agency.
You are able to gain their trust back, but they have to do it a step at a time. They have to make that effort to take that step forward in order to do it.
Well, this is a step. This is a step that they could take that could really prove the state police is what they say they are. And they want the truth. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yep.
Let's investigate it. Let's find out.
Rip that Band-Aid off.
And if that shirt is missing, forget it. You're never going to regain. If that shirt is not that shirt there, that's just there for a prop.
Just an example. Yeah.
Johnny's shirt would not look like that shirt.
It would be in disarray.
But if Johnny Edrington's shirt is missing out of that evidence case, and they're saying this case is still open, it's not even closed. If the case was closed, they say, well, the case is closed. They can't say that, see, because every time you file for an open records request or ask about that, the case remains open and under investigation. if it's open and under investigation, all the evidence dealing with that case
Should be.
should
there.
be there.
Mhm. I agree. Okay.
You're up, babe. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank you all. We hope everyone is safe due to the flooding in Kentucky and elsewhere. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
God bless.
God bless.